This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotato.com.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
I am Iron Man. That's a big one.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
You are a toy!
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Why so serious?
The city's flying. We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
And welcome to World War G episode 236. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ. Nothing to it but to do it.
Yeah,
Get right into these stories.
I guess. Unless you want to, I don't know, talk about your week.
Been pretty lackluster. Just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah,
A cog in the, machine that we call life.
yeah. I saw a guy have a seizure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
How, really?
yeah. It was, so I was at work, and we were having this early morning meeting.
Is that exciting?
Yeah. Yeah. You just needed something to do. And so what happens was I was there really early because I just hung around after my shift because I didn't have, really a way to get home.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was sitting there and I was watching stuff on my phone, had my earphones in, and I was watching Good Mythical Morning.
Okay.
Okay. And what episode was it? It's a recent one that they were doing. I can't remember. Anyway, they got to a point in the show where sometimes their crew will add in certain things, sound effects and stuff. So what happened was they got to a certain point and I heard this kind of muffled scream.
Oh, geez.
Right?
Yeah.
And I thought it was from what I was watching because it synced up perfectly at the point that I was watching it. And so, but I happened to look up and the whole time there was a guy that was also in there. He was had his head down on the table. I think he was sleeping. And I saw him hit the ground.
Oh, wow.
And he started shaking. He started seizing out.
Mm-hmm.
So I sit there for just a second. I'm like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
I'm the only one here. I need to do something. So I went and I grabbed the store manager, assistant manager, and they came in.
Did that take a minute, or were they pretty close by?
Luckily, they were close by.
Okay.
Because they had just gone in there to drop some stuff off for the meeting, and then they walked out again. So they weren't too far away.
So you yell for them, and get back in here.
Yeah,
I think he's having a seizure.
So yeah, then they called the ambulance. Fire department came.
Did you have to do anything with Isn't with a seizure you have to make sure they don't swallow their tongue?
Well, that's what the assistant manager did. He rolled them over to his side.
Okay.
But yeah, he was coughing up blood and stuff. And,
oh, that's gnarly.
Yeah. And then when the paramedics got there, he had kind of started to come out of it. And they were asking him, where he was. And he said
checking
that he
his
was,
eyes.
Yeah, said he was home.
Oh,
he said he had to go to work at 6 o'clock. It was almost 10 by that point. So he was.
This job will do it to you.
Yeah. So yeah, he wasn't coming out of it as quickly as they would like, so they had to take him to the hospital, and yeah, it was a whole big thing. But what I learned about myself was that I don't panic in those kind of situations.
Yeah. Because
everybody was saying, because I was talking to him, said, "Oh, you're so lucky you were there." I would have freaked out, wouldn't know what to do. I was just like,
mm-hmm.
I didn't. I was just like, well, I should go do something. So I went and grabbed the managers. And,
yeah.
I didn't. So I guess I have the ability to remain calm in emergency situations.
As Hemingway puts it, that grace under pressure.
Yes, right before he killed himself.
Uh-huh.
Well, he did.
I know, but I was thinking more some of his other works. So, I don't even know how to segue into this, but I'm just going to jump right in here. Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill will be reprising their roles in Jurassic World 3.
Yes.
Apparently, we're getting a third one. I, honestly thought after the second one, when it bombed so badly at the box office, that they were just going to be done.
Yeah, it didn't do great.
No.
I barely remember what the second one was about.
I never saw it. Not even, on Redbox. Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure you can find it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was... Okay. I remember now. It's about... Yeah, it was the guy... They destroyed the island. The guy was trying to sell dinosaurs, the highest bidder.
The only thing I remember is from the trailer, and they were in these orb ball things bouncing around.
Yeah. That was from the first Jurassic World. That's that ride.
Mm-hmm.
The automatic ride that kind of goes through the park, and... Yeah, so they hopped in one of those.
I'm trying to think. Do you remember in the first one them killing off any of the other characters, or kind of because they did a fantastic job paying homage to the original movies, right? They had the goggles and the original Jeep and the banner that T-Rex had knocked down.
Yeah, they went to the original visitor center.
Right, yeah. Correct. So I like that they kind of hinted at it or hit it, but didn't really focus too much on it, and made it their own. But I really thought that the original crew, something had happened to them or something was said that they'd kind of, no?
No, I mean, they all still survived. Jeff Goldblum was actually in the second Jurassic World.
Right.
Briefly, had a brief cameo.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sam Neill and Laura Dern's characters, they were in Jurassic Park 3.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they survived. So they're still around.
As well as they're surviving career-wise, right? Although, I think most notably, out of all of them, it's probably Jeff Goldblum, right?
Yeah. I think Sam Neill does a lot of stuff.
More indie films?
Over in Europe.
Okay.
I think and that's kind of what he's doing. Laura Dern
Big Little Liars.
Yeah, she's done a lot of television
shows.
Yeah. But as far as big names, yeah, it's definitely Jeff Goldblum.
Mm-hmm. It's always interesting to me because I don't remember him being the biggest out of the three originally, right?
No.
Probably Sam. Maybe
there really wasn't a big standout star in the original. I mean, they were all known.
Right.
All those actors were known, but there wasn't you gotta go see Jurassic Park because, so-and-so is in it. There really wasn't any of people like that.
Right. Any guesses on where they're going with this one?
Well, did you see that short film that was released? It was just a week ago.
No.
Yeah, it was it was called Jurassic World Battle of Big Rock or something like that. Well, basically the premise is you have these... It takes place after the second Jurassic World, and pretty much what happens is the dinosaurs have now been basically released into civilization.
Yeah.
They fled captivity and now they're in our world. And so there was a bunch of news stories and stuff in the beginning of the film saying, the dinosaur, showing pictures of or videos of dinosaurs in everyday life and that sort of thing, like people driving down the highway and almost hitting a stegosaurus and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so the premise of the film, and it's only 15 minutes, is there's this family that is camping, and there's a bunch of other trailers around, and there's all this commotion, and everything goes silent, and they look out, and there's a triceratops out there.
Oh, just chilling out by the campfire?
Yeah, trying to find food and stuff, and then there's a baby, and then there's all of a sudden, as Jurassic World does, there's a Allosaurus that comes charging through, and you got this cool fight between the Triceratops and the Allosaurus.
Was it actually pretty relatively good graphics wise.
Yeah. No, the graphics look like the film because it was produced by or directed by the guy who directed the films.
Okay.
Colin Trevorrow.
Could this just be just a little like taste of what's to come?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty much what it is. And so Jurassic World is going to be that, I think. It's going to be dinosaurs in our world and how we now have to adapt to that.
Right.
Because I think it was either Dr. Grant or Jeff Goldblum's character, Dr. Malcolm, that said something along the lines of humans and dinosaurs were never meant to share the planet at the same time.
Yeah.
Basically, evolution and nature made that so we never met.
And here
so
we're tampering with it.
Now that we're tampering with it, things are going awry, and that's what you get.
To me, I feel like if I were to survive in a world like this, like, I would seriously, I know there would be some people that would be out there, like, hunting them, you know, and then there would be activists that would be saying, like, don't poach them. But then I feel like your boss, you know, kind of go back to your original story, your boss would be way more happy that you made it to work on, you know. They'd be like, oh, congratulations, you survived. You didn't die, you know. A pterodactyl didn't swoop down and just, like, kill you.
You didn't get eaten today. Congratulations.
Although, with the way that the direction that the world is going, because this is obviously set in the future, and from the futuristic-looking park, you know, you can tell it's a couple years forward.
Right.
I feel like we'd already get to a point where we didn't need to leave our homes, or these little, like, almost like territories that we've kind of claimed for ourselves, that we set up security around the outside of the perimeter, and then we live within inside of it.
Interesting.
And then, you know, so we're almost like dwindling off a little bit, right? But then we've set up ways that we could, like, maybe perhaps, like, tunnel to these different areas, because I can't imagine, like, too many dinosaurs using tunnels or subways.
I don't think so.
Right?
No.
I imagine they'd stay more in the forest and that kind of area. Although it would be really kind of interesting if, like, a herd of, I don't know, like some kind of dinosaur just, like, wipes out New York City and claims that for their own because they like, you know, they like the look of it. And it wouldn't take that long before civilization, kind of like nature, kind of started taking over again and regrowing stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah. This has potential.
It does.
And it'll be cool to see the original cast reprise their roles.
Mm-hmm.
To see what they've been up to, what they've been kind of doing. Well, you have a traumatic experience like that, and you're just, all right, let's just get out of here and never come back kind of a deal, right?
Yeah.
They obviously came back because they had 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
But after those, you know, lesson learned, like, what's going to be the driving force that's actually going to get these guys to come back out of retirement, more or less?
Probably their expertise.
You don't think it'd be like their offspring? Jeff's got a kid or two.
I don't think so. I know Laura Dern and Sam Neill. I think they had kids. They ended up getting divorced.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had kids, if I remember correctly, in Jurassic World or Jurassic Park 3. I don't try to think about that movie much.
Although at least, like, the premise or, like, the timeline of Jurassic World and Jurassic Park, they've done a pretty good job of keeping it pretty consistent.
Yes.
It wouldn't be too difficult to go back and say, like, hey, these were the kids, you know, that they grew up or something.
Yeah.
Or it's not like where it's like the Terminator where it's all over the place and you don't know, wait, now...
Or X-Men or something like that. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, this one's pretty linear as far as things go. It hasn't been, like, tampered too much. Well, not tampered, but, like, even with, like, Star Wars, where you've got all these offshoots.
Yeah.
Right? The story and the premise and the canon has pretty much stayed the same. You know, or been pretty consistent.
Yeah. But I'm betting they're going to get called back into action because their expertise in the field, they've been through this before, and it's kind of like I bet it'll end up being at first like a consultant basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as these movies tend to do, they'll be dragged back into the action.
The thick of things.
Yeah.
I honestly, though, you'd think it would be lesson learned, right?
You'd think.
Right? I don't
You'd
know.
think.
It'll be interesting to see if there's a villain in this one as well.
Yeah, maybe see if they dive a bit more into InGen and kind of their dealings and everything that shady company's been doing and that sort of stuff. So
we'll see.
All right. So DC Comics, I don't know if they're having struggling sales or what, but they've been really relying on like gimmick type stuff, like crossover stuff, like DC Comics meets Hanna-Barbera cartoons, or DC Comics meets the Looney Tunes, or that sort of stuff. Well, now they're doing it again, but this time it's with the AEW. Now, if you don't know what the AEW is, it's All Elite Wrestling. Okay. Basically, it's kind of this new, if you follow wrestling at all, you kind of know, it's kind of this new upstart wrestling company that's trying to challenge the WWE, kind of how WCW did back in the day. And they are somewhat succeeding. Days ahead of their TV debut, All Elite Wrestling have begun teasing a partnership with DC. This team-up has launched with a Howard Porter / hi-fi illustration of the AEW champion Chris Jericho, followed by a Jon Moxley illustration by Roman Villalobos.
Blah, blah, blah,
blah, blah.
And
Ramon Villalobos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just bring this up to think there's just, I don't know, it just seems like DC is relying on this type of stuff.
Because it's
like
up and coming, and it's hip and popular right now.
Yeah, or just these gimmicks, you know, these crossover gimmicks, and I don't know why they're doing this.
They've got all these characters that really haven't been too explored, or they haven't, like, gone into too much depth with them.
Right.
That they could start branching out a little bit. They're established enough and they've been around a long enough time that people are going to give it, like, some of these things a chance, right? Why jump on the bandwagon of this?
I don't, that's what I'm wondering. I don't know. It's like, when's the last time you heard Marvel doing something like this?
Like, really? Well, yeah, they haven't had to.
No.
Well,
like Marvel has a crossover with, like, I don't know, some soap opera or something. No, they don't do that. They focus on their characters and on their stories.
It's just another way in which DC is kind of lacking or falling behind.
I guess so.
Which sucks because I prefer DC. But if they're going to keep doing this...
I mean, comics-wise... Yeah, DC I think does have a bit more compelling characters a lot of the time, but yeah, these crossover gimmicks and stuff are just, I think they're just kind of pointless.
I honestly feel like we need to have some sort of Stan Lee moment, some sort of a moment where we come out with all these new characters, not just DC, but like comics in general. They come out with all these new characters. They give other people opportunities to kind of throw something into the ring and start anew.
Yeah, I've thought about that. I think that right now the time is right, or just about there, where you could have a new crop of superheroes created. You could have even a new comic book company.
Yeah.
Could pop up and start creating new superheroes and new characters. And I think if done right now it could be embraced.
Because people, I mean, everything's kind of coming down with Marvel. I understand that they're doing like their phase 4, but at the same time, it feels like the waters are kind of right for something new to pop up, and everybody would be willing to jump on the bandwagon or give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, because there are those people out there those comic book fans that I'm sure are looking for something new.
Yeah.
Right? Because Marvel, what they're doing, they're basically just following the films.
Yes, pretty much.
DC's doing all these dumb crossovers. So if you had somebody else come up that creates characters that focuses on story, individual stories, gets back to what comic books used to be, where it's just superheroes fighting bad guys in a linear story. I think if done right, if marketed well, they could do pretty well.
Yes. Yeah.
I think.
Branching, like starting like a whole new, basically the Marvel effect.
Yeah.
All over again.
I mean, IDW is doing pretty well, but they're relying a lot on like, Ninja Turtles meets Ghostbusters, or
right.
They have a lot of those properties, and they still do well.
Image is doing pretty decent, but the only problem is if Marvel, I mean, you have to have story and you have to have content in order to make a good movie, and because people love seeing comics and these certain stories brought to the big screen.
Yeah.
But if you don't have anybody creating good quality content, you can't I can't see them actually making a DC movie with wrestlers, right? No, that's going to be like stupid.
No. Yeah.
So they need some like quality content in order to create a good story if you're going to make a movie.
Yeah, because I just thought about this. The DC films are relying on stories that they did 30 years ago.
Right.
Like Batman v Superman was kind of took a lot from the Dark Knight Returns.
Yes.
Which was back in the 80s. Whereas Marvel is doing things like Civil War, which is less than 20 years old at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And relying on those storylines. And I think that's another issue with DC. They need to start cranking out, these storylines and stop relying on these gimmicks.
Because that's only going to last so long.
Yeah.
That's only going to be like a flash in the pan, and then it's going to be gone. Yeah, right?
Like the wedding of Batman to Catwoman and blah, blah. Who cares? It's dull. That's why I don't read comic books anymore. Because DC's relying on that stuff, and Marvel's, they're just focusing on characters that are in the films.
Yeah.
And so it's not all that interesting anymore, but.
Speaking of characters that aren't all that interesting anymore, apparently Disney, to save $90 million, are going to be dropping Johnny Depp from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. They do have big plans to revamp and start start this franchise all over again, and they're not using their number one star, Johnny Depp. He's kind of run his course. Run aground.
Yeah. Now what are all those people going to do that do impressions and dress up as Captain Jack's cosplay?
How to drink rum? They're
going to be out of a job.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Which I think it's actually a good thing to get away from him.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. It's time. I mean, the first one came out in what? 2001? No, 3. 2003, that came out.
And he's been in each one of them since.
Yep. Yeah, I think
How old is Johnny Depp? He doesn't age.
50-something? I don't know. Let's look it up real quick. He's got to be in his 50s.
I'm guessing 57.
Age. You were close.
56?
56.
Okay. That was going to be I was going to say 56, but like, no.
Yep, he was born in 63.
Okay. Yeah. To me, I feel like Johnny Depp needs to do villain movies.
Mm.
Become a really good villain, or do more mobster movies. Like,
yeah, he's good at those.
He's good at those. Yeah.
Yeah, like when
Was it Black Mass?
Yeah, Black Mass, Murder on the Orient Express, or he was the villain.
One of my favorite, Public Enemies.
Yes,
That
Public
was
Enemies.
That was a great one. Oh, that getting shot in the cheek would have hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, if he focuses more on that, I think he can have kind of a second career.
Yes.
Kind of like how Liam Neeson is doing all that stuff. If he kind of went away from the major
Disney piratey, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And just go back to what he used to do, which was those independent films, the quieter films. I think he'll be all right.
I was watching. This was just yesterday. I was watching the Hot Ones, or the Hot. Yeah, Hot Ones. Have you seen that before?
Of course.
Okay. So I thought it was really kind of cool, is because they were talking to Ashton Kutcher, and he was saying how he wishes that he would have kept, like, he was one of the first celebrities to embrace Instagram and social media in general.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he wishes that he would have kept his life a little bit more private, because then he feels like he could do more movies and branch out a little bit and have more of a broad, like, career as far as films go. And like, even as we were talking about Johnny Depp, I was thinking, with his life being so out in the open and everybody knows about, like, all these issues with, like, the money, financial issues that he's had and all these other things, he's kind of been typecast into certain movie roles, right? Because it's difficult for a person to believe him in other roles.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel like that celebrity would do that role, then it's difficult to imagine them in it, and you just call BS, like, right off the bat, and you're just like, all right, nope. Like, it would be like Ashton Kutcher doing something. I mean, I guess he's done Steve Jobs, but doing something like completely out of his will of,
his wheelhouse,
his range.
Yeah, I think the best thing Ashton Kutcher could do in that situation is completely disappear for a while. Mm-hmm. Get off social media. Raise his family with Mila Kunis, and just disappear for like 5-6 years.
Although keep doing what you're doing with, like, have him keep doing what he's doing with, like, child trafficking and all those other projects and stuff that he's doing. But focus more on those things. And
then in after that time, come back and do this really, like, intense project, like this role you'd never think that he could do, and, like, I don't know, have him, like, beef up or something and really do something out of the ordinary.
I think something really dark.
Yeah, something really dark.
He's a serial killer. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best thing he could do right now.
Is that the same thing that Johnny Depp should do after, Or I think he got to stay in the limelight because he's kind of like an older commodity?
Johnny Depp, it's weird because he is a private guy. Yeah. Yet somehow his life has been getting out into the open, right? Which is strange.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to do with his ex. But yeah, I think it's the same thing. Just keep your head down. Mm-hmm. Stay out of the spotlight for a while. Keep doing darker roles, dark villain roles, and just kind of build the remaining years of your career on that.
Okay.
Because I can't imagine he's going to be around for too much longer.
No.
Wait, you think I'm not saying he's going to die.
You just predicted his death.
I was saying he's going to die. I'm just saying, as far as acting goes, I'd give him another 10 years maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he'll be around, like, for quite some time. Some of these characters or some of these celebrities that have been around for a while that are starting to age, they're becoming the new, Clint Eastwood and, like, all these older guys, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. He'll probably keep acting, but it'll be very few and far between.
Okay.
The movies he does.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, you can kind of pick and choose once you've had that good of a career.
It's true.
Right? You don't have to do everything, and you don't have to pull a Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Or even a Bruce Willis.
Oh, yeah.
Because he does a lot of those generic action films that go straight to Redbox. Just like Nicolas Cage does.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's doing. So, we are getting a Walker Texas Ranger reboot. Did you ever watch Walker Texas Ranger?
I can't say I have.
I did.
Okay.
I caught it mostly in reruns as a child. Usually on the days when I was homesick. Because it came on like 9 or 10 in the morning, on like the Hallmark channel, I think.
Okay.
And so I caught a couple episodes here and there. It's not great.
Chuck Norris wasn't the best actor?
Yeah, surprise.
What?
So they are rebooting the show, and it's going to star Jared Padalecki, from Supernatural.
This I could see. He could play a cowboy, right?
Yeah, he does have the look. But again, why does it have to be a reboot?
Yeah.
Why do you have to remake the show? Just do another show like that. But I don't know why you have to.
They're pulling a DC, and they have to jump on the bandwagon or the coattails of the name.
Maybe that's what it is.
Right?
Maybe that's what it is.
Because I don't think anybody that watched the original one is really going to care about this, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've rebooted MacGyver. They rebooted Magnum P.I. They rebooted Hawaii Five-0. I mean, just let these shows die.
They had their day in the sun,
Yes, let the shows die. I will say one of the funniest things that's from Walker Texas Ranger has to do with it is back in the day, Conan O'Brien would, because NBC owned or bought the rights to Walker Texas Ranger, and so Conan O'Brien said that they can play as many clips from Walker Texas Ranger as they want to. So he would have this lever next to his desk, and every time he pulled it, some random clip of Walker Texas Ranger would play.
Oh, geez.
And they're usually the most ridiculous, humorous or unintentionally funny clips from the show. And it was just hilarious. You could probably see some of those I'm sure you can find them on YouTube, but yeah, go check it out. It's crazy. I hope they don't have Chuck Norris cameo.
No.
Yeah.
When we did see him at Comic-Con, he wasn't doing so well.
It didn't seem like it. No. I think he's taking one too many kicks to the old noggin. He's a little, he's a little out of it.
I bet they could, okay, say this line, say this phrase. Okay, now next one.
Yeah.
Say this line.
You gotta treat him like you do, like a little 3-year-old or something that's on a movie set. Okay, now say this. Chuck, honey, say this. Say this line. Yeah. Look over here. Over here. Look at the keys, Chuck. Look at the keys.
Which is sad because, I don't know, he's had such a long career, right? But it does take
he fought
its toll.
Bruce Lee, for crying out loud.
Are there any television shows that you would like to see get revamped and done better?
No.
I can't say.
Not that I can think of.
Right?
I'm sure I've been watching a TV show and thought, oh, they should redo this, or I can't think off the top of my head.
I prefer, I do prefer a fresh new idea.
Yes.
That's similar to something else. Say, the Orderville, it's similar to Star Trek, but it's its own thing.
It's its own thing, yeah.
Right? Some of these great shows, they draw influences from other things, but they make it their own and, live by the sword, die by the sword. If it works, it works. If not.
I think we're seeing the tail end of this whole reboot trend. I think it's starting to come to an end.
Yeah.
I think that was a child that just hit the door. I don't know. Something just hit the door as we were sitting here talking. Kind of scared me.
Death's knocking at the door.
I just want to see. Oh, the vacuum fell.
Okay.
That's what it was.
See, Troy's initial thought is like it was a child, or it's something that can be easily explained. Mine is like demons.
Yeah, it's
ghosts.
a ghost.
It's a ghost.
It's a ghost. Well, because I know Colton and Emily were at the church this morning with my mom.
Okay.
So I thought maybe they had swung by and thought maybe that was one of their kids. No, it was just a vacuum.
Yeah.
Wasn't a ghost. Whew.
All right. We can explain it by science this time.
Yes. It was simply the vacuum fell over.
Speaking of which, like with Halloween just around the corner, or like everybody getting ready for Halloween, it's just about October.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we need to do some sort of I feel like we need to do some sort of like a Halloween episode.
I'm sure we will. We've done it in the past.
Yeah. We'll
think of something. Oh, by the way, remember that question you asked last week about the light bulb? And it was ghost hunting, and sometimes they put a light bulb and that's not connected to power and it would light up?
Yes.
I found an answer.
Okay.
It's static electricity.
Okay.
The way the filaments are in light bulbs is if you build up enough static electricity, and then if you yourself grabbed a light bulb, it would light up for a short period of time. Same thing. That you could just place a light bulb on something, and if there's enough static electricity around, it's going to light up.
Where does that static electricity come from, though?
It's everywhere. Static electricity is everywhere.
So, yeah, I guess if it was like placed on like a carpet or something, or a couch or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Okay.
But yeah.
It wouldn't happen very often though, right?
It depends. It depends. Depends on like where you are. But yeah. Like I could take a bulb and throw it into those blankets right there, and I could probably get it to spark some, have it light up for a second.
Okay.
But yeah.
Static electricity.
Yeah.
Well, then how would they ever, like, is there a authentic, unless it like appears in front of you, is there another authentic way for like somebody to prove that there's a spirit of sorts?
No.
No? Like,
not unless I see an actual ghost appear before my eyes.
Yeah.
Like if one appeared right now.
Vacuum again.
Then fine. I'll be the first to say the ghosts are real.
Okay.
But anything else besides that, no. That can all be explained.
Interesting.
All of it.
Speaking of scary things, John Krasinski is coming back.
That is scary.
With
terrifying.
Quiet Place number 2.
Yeah.
This one, they didn't go into too much detail. It's brought to you by thehooksite.com. That it's just kind of like finished up. That's finished up filming, and they haven't yet set like a release date, but he's got a beard, so it's got to be good.
It's got to be.
Was it just me, or did it? everybody kept comparing it to Get Out, which Get Out is one of those movies that I thought was amazing.
Yes.
It was original. It had like you could watch it again and again and get details out of it that you might have missed the first time.
Yeah.
Right? A Quiet Place, like people were like, oh, this is basically like Get Out. But to me, I didn't feel that way. Maybe I just need to go back and watch it again.
I think the comparisons were because it was both films were directed by
new up and coming directors.
Yeah, and directors that were well known as actors, but as comedic actors.
Right.
And so they both then made kind of these horror film or suspense thriller films. And so I think that's where the comparisons were. As far as like storyline and stuff, no, they're not similar.
I wasn't thinking like storyline, but they were like saying it was on par with Get Out as far as like how scary it was and suspenseful.
It was original. I'll give him that.
Yeah. To get that many people to be that quiet in a film is pretty impressive.
Yeah, well yeah, and even the premise I think is pretty cool, and
I don't think it was handled
pretty
the best.
Unique. It was fine. I think it did well for what it was.
The sand paths, like all this preparation that they did, it seems like, I don't know. Like, okay, so say this were to happen, these aliens, like, landed on our planet, and everyone's just like, you have to be quiet, like, they can pick up on any sound, just be completely quiet, because we've already tried, like, shooting with guns, and they keep attacking us, and we've eventually figured out that you have to be quiet. Then, like, immediately on a farm, they grab, like, where do they get the sand from?
Hardware stores.
Okay, and then they spread it around the whole entire area so they can still function and they still like survive on these crops and stuff, right? And then I didn't feel like the other thing that kind of like bugged me, because I feel like they should have lived like closer to water.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, if you fart or burp or sneeze, like they've raised little children. The kids weren't that old, that they must have been babies at the time that the aliens actually dropped down on the planet, right? What if they were crying? That was the whole problem with like them having a new baby and her being pregnant in the first place, is because she was worried about the baby crying, right?
Why in the world would you get pregnant again?
No.
In that situation.
Yeah, no. Not gonna happen.
Pull out, John!
Yeah. And then the other thing was...
Sure, there's drugstores. Grab a condom, John! Grab a condom. I know it's Emily Blunt, but come on.
Yeah.
Try to control yourself.
Which they're a pretty awesome couple.
They are.
As far as couples go, I'm like, they've got their stuff together. They're one of the few couples that I could see surviving Hollywood.
Then next week we learn John Krasinski and Emily Blunt have decided to split.
Well, a lot of these, okay, I do think that Will Smith and Jada Smith, they'll be around for a while. And then there was another couple that I was thinking about.
Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson.
Yeah, I could foresee. Like, I'm not seeing them go anywhere.
No.
Some of these other celebrities, they work on a movie together, and they're just like, we should hook up. This would be good for, we'll keep our same names. You don't have to change yours because you're famous and I'm famous, but we'll hook up and be a power couple.
Yeah.
They'll give us a name. They'll give us a cool name together.
Yeah, anytime I see two actors that became a couple because they work together, I'm like, that's not gonna last.
No,
It's like trying to hook up with a coworker. It never works.
Yeah, no, yeah. Because if like there's bad blood or something, like. Although the one good thing, because it's got to be difficult as a celebrity, especially like a higher up celebrity, to actually find time to, pursue dating and not be worried about them. It would be interesting. It would be difficult. At least I'm a little jealous sometimes when like if I were to have like a celebrity girlfriend and then she were to do like this like love scene or something with somebody else. I'd be like, man, like, all right, I get it. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I'd have to like, just like kind of whatever. But, at least if you're dating another celebrity, they're kind of used to, they're just like, this is my job.
Yeah.
I'm just acting. I'm pretending. This isn't real. I don't actually like share these, like, I don't actually share these feelings, with them. But it would also be kind of interesting to see if the people that do, like celebrities that do end up getting together and getting married, if they did do a sex scene in a movie before they hooked up.
Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt did with Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Okay, yeah, they played a couple before hooking and getting together.
And they got together on that film.
Right?
So, yeah.
And that didn't work out.
No, it didn't.
20 kids later.
Yeah. I'm sure at this point Brad Pitt's just kind of like, oh, whew, thank goodness.
Yeah. Although Angelina Jolie is making a comeback, I think, with this Maleficent that she's doing. This will kind of create a resurgence for her career.
Yeah. Well, and she never really went away. She does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Like, she directs and stuff.
She did do that, that animated, I think it was, called The Prophet animated, or no, The Bread Runner. That's what it was. Did you ever see that one?
No.
It was in contention for, an Oscar.
Was it?
Yeah, it was really well done, actually. I was about this girl that had help out her family over in one of those third world countries where women have to be covered. I
never saw that.
Yeah, but back to A Quiet Place.
Oh yeah.
The other thing that I didn't much care for.
Sorry, that's what we were talking
about. Her earpiece. That she didn't feel like she was in any danger. But I think with the second one, they're going to utilize that a little bit more, right? As a way of fighting back.
Kind of weaponize it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
weaponize
surprised. I'm surprised that the government didn't think about that in the first place.
Yeah, trying different
using
things.
Sound, loud noises as weapons. I mean, that seems pretty obvious.
Right.
If they have such good hearing, then let's crank up the volume on something, and chances are that's going to hurt them.
Yeah. I mean, similar to what Superman did to Brainiac, overwhelm him with all sort of mud.
Well, and then more of a real-world application, look at dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs have good hearing.
You blow one of those dog whistles.
Yeah, it drives them crazy.
Right.
Same thing. They're just big, scary space dogs.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Okay. There's been a lot of really strange hype around this Joker movie opening. Because the police, the LA police, when or planning when the movie premieres, are going to up their police presence more than normal. Because there are a lot of people that think that this movie is going to start or spark some sort of violence.
Uprising or some sort of mass shooting.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, I hope something like that happens.
How V for Vendetta kind of led to the uprising of Anonymous, how they all wore those masks, and that whole Occupy Wall Street thing, they're all wearing the same kind of mask. People worry that this movie is going to spark kind of that same thing.
See, now to me, I feel like this is, because we were talking about this before the episode, and I was trying to remember the movie, and we believe that it's like The Exorcist. You know how they only released it in certain movies. They said that people were passing out. They locked the doors for people so they couldn't get out of the theater while they were watching the movie. They did all this hype around it. This, to me, we haven't had a movie like this in some time that's kind of played off of that as well. They haven't done so much with the trailers, but they've talked about Joaquin Phoenix, where he got his inspiration for his laugh, you know, and they've talked about they've dissected this movie already before it's even been released, or they've released it, I guess, up in Toronto at select couple of theaters to kind of test the waters.
Yeah.
And it's done really well, but I feel like they're just trying to like hype up the movie by adding this additional security.
Well, there's also, I guess, there was an FBI advisory warning about this, in light of what happened at the shooting in Aurora, Colorado during the Dark Knight Rises screening.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think the FBI is just kind of like, hey, you just might want to
take some precautions.
Be cautious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This never happens in a Marvel movie.
No, how about that?
Right?
How about that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's only been like DC movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really odd. I kind of never made that.
Yeah, you don't have any mass shootings of like Iron Man 3.
Although,
and I think if any of the films, it'd be that one.
Yeah, that or what, the second
Thor 2.
Yeah. If anyone...
So he just stands up, he's like, I can't take this anymore.
Plow, 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 plow. I'm trying to think of any other movies that have really like had issues with this. With like causing shootings. Texas Chainsaw?
No.
You'd think like some of these horror movies would have the potential for more security or more issues.
Yeah, I
even
don't...
Saw, right?
Yeah. I can't think of anything. The only thing I can think of is the kid that burned down his house because of Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Back in the early 90s, but other than that, I can't
just
think
DC movies. It's a sign.
I guess so. DC should just stop.
Man. I'm still going, like, are you more on board to see this movie than before?
Not any more or less than I was. I'm still going to go see it.
Oh, for sure.
But it's not like, I have to go see it now. No.
I feel like it's too little too late for them to try to connect it to any type of bigger universe, though. Which I've heard some speculation that they want to like throw in an after credit scene with Batman so that they can start a whole franchise.
Yeah, I can't see this movie doing that.
No.
No. I know
DC really needs to get their act together if they're going to do some sort of bigger project.
See, I think DC's given up on that. I think they've given up on the whole connected universe things. I think they tried it and I think it failed. And so I think now they're focusing on more of these standalone films.
Okay. Which if you get a really solid standalone film or a really solid standalone graphic novel or comic book, I love those stories. Like those are like some of my favorite ones. I'm like going through and I can list them off, but it's like these like little short stories that kind of have like a beginning and an end. It's not just like this continuation of a huge story that's going on and on. So I'm kind of for it. If they could, I think DC should stick with what they're good at.
I think so too.
Deborah CHow will be directing Disney Plus's Obi-Wan Kenobi series. She's like, for those that aren't too familiar with like previous stuff with what she's done, she did actually with the Mandalorian. She did direct one of those episodes. She also has done quite a few other projects. I was looking her up. She's pretty familiar with like Star Wars because she's also done Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. She's going to be on that one as well. But it's not like they haven't yet said whether she's going to be directing the entire series or just an episode or two. But this actually, I don't know, has some pretty good potential.
Well, yeah, it says her TV credits include episodes of American Gods, Better Call Saul, Lost in Space, Jessica Jones, Reign, Mr. Robot, and Iron Fist.
So she's pretty familiar with, how a good story is told.
And look, guys, she's pretty familiar with like action and sci-fi and that sort of thing.
Is this really a series? I mean, are you looking forward to seeing this one?
Yes.
Much more so than The Mandalorian?
No, I'm looking forward to Mandalorian more.
Okay. Just because you've already seen a trailer?
It's because it looks more interesting.
Okay.
I think the premise is a bit more interesting. But I'm looking forward to this one because I really like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And I look forward to continuing on his story. Chances are it's going to take place between episodes 3 and 4 after the Jedi's been wiped out. Hopefully they kind of center it on him kind of wandering through the galaxy and his adventures that he goes on.
Kind of going more Samurai Jack style.
Yeah.
Right?
Sort of this galactic hobo.
Yeah.
This galactic magic hobo that wanders around doing goods.
It's the name of the episode right there. Galactic Magic Hobo.
I think it is.
Yeah. Do they really need to worry about tying it together with the episode 3?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you show excuse me. I think you show that the Empire has basically taken over and that's pretty much all you have to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And just, have him trying to survive, basically. And probably trying to keep under wraps that he's a Jedi.
Right. Because, I mean, any word that somebody, hears, oh, there's rumors of there being a Jedi on this planet or something, they're going to come down with, the wrath of God on these people and trying
Guns
to kill.
Guns a-blazing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even though they can't hit anything, they'll still try.
Right, yeah.
So is that going to be still the threat, or is he going to encounter somebody else that's going to...
I would imagine that the bigger threat's going to be the Empire.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure he'll run into probably a few bounty hunters and stuff like that. Maybe a Sith Lord or two. But... I can imagine it's going to be a lot of stormtroopers. It's going to be a lot of, what were those characters called? They were on Rebels. They weren't Sith Lords. They were like a class right below them. Oh, shoot. I can't remember what they were.
Maybe encounter one or two of those.
Yeah. Also kind of ties the universes together. And I think this story will actually take place around that same time period as Rebels did.
It's pretty finite, right?
Yeah.
They've only got a set little story that they can do, and I imagine people are going to be disappointed when it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Knowing that there's not going to be a season 2.
Yeah. I can because Obi-Wan's story is finite. He dies in episode 4. So, you can only go so far.
Right.
Yeah.
But you could tie in episode 2 and 3 together and then 3 and 4, right? Have a couple more episodes?
Yeah, you might be able to. I don't
know. Are there any other Star Wars characters that you've been dying for a story to be told about them or more content? He's one of the few, right?
Yeah. Boba Fett, but we're getting the Mandalorian, so there's that.
That'll kind of appease the Boba Fett fans.
I thought I wanted Han Solo, but
after seeing
turns out not so much.
No.
I'm good.
Yeah. Was it just the direction that they went with his story that you didn't want more content, or
just the way it was handled?
Yeah.
I thought it was an okay film. It was just
yeah.
Nothing I ever had to see again.
Darth Vader?
No, I think Darth Vader, pretty much all his story's been told.
And I like that there's still a little mystique around him, right? There's some unknown, and I would hate to have him because he's known as one of the greatest villains of all time, right? Yeah. As far as cinematic movies are concerned.
Yeah.
And you do too much with him and people start empathizing and sympathizing with him.
Right.
And he loses that edge that he once had. You don't create a character like Pennywise or Mike Myers and all these other guys and give them too much empathy because they're still killers.
Yeah.
Bottom line, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to give them enough of a backstory so you kind of know where they came from. With Mike Myers killing his sister post-coital.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
So, which is really the worst way to die, you think about it, just right after you have sex. That would suck.
I think it wouldn't be.
Go from the highest highs to the lowest lows.
I think I'd be okay with that. I've always thought that the way I want to die is just like out on a golf course, hit a hole in one, and then have a heart attack. Like be super happy and chill, and then like it is finished, and then just die.
But would you want to enjoy it though for a second?
Yeah. You're saying like right after you're just like and then get killed. Oh,
it's like that was nice, and then you get stabbed. Like
I think I'd still be cool with that.
Oh, okay.
I really would.
Like, as you're seeing your blood drain out of your chest, like, well, at least I got some. So I'm all right with this.
Like, all the blood returns from other areas to the wound. Okay. I had a bloody good time. And those would be my last words.
Well, guess who's back?
Who's that?
Back again.
Shady?
Spidey's back.
Oh.
Tell a friend.
Guess who's back?
I could actually sing that song. I know most of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
man. So, yeah, Spider-Man's back in the MCU for a second. Kevin Feige and Marvel will produce the next Spider-Man film. Apparently, Marvel and Sony came to an agreement. What the agreement is, I'm not sure.
I was just about to ask what that is. Their initial agreement was 5% and all the toy rights, right? Sony got Sony got everything else. Disney just took 5% of whatever the movie made and all of the merchandise rights.
Let's see. The stalemate between Sony and Walt Disney Pictures over Marvel Studios' involvement in the next Spider-Man film has ended. The two studios released a joint statement saying that Kevin Feige will indeed produce the follow-up to the well-received Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man From Home.
Well-received. It made $1 billion.
Yeah. Alongside Sony's Amy Pascal. As part of the deal, Tom Holland's Spider-Man will also appear in another future MCU film following his trilogy, Caper, and could also appear in Sony Spider-Verse movies as well.
Because Spider-Man is kind of like the pivotal turning point for Phase 4.
Yeah.
Right? Without him, it's difficult to make that. I mean, it still can be done, but it's a lot easier because he's kind of taken the mantle from Iron Man.
Yeah.
He's the new Iron Man.
Well, we talked about before, it's like you take Spider-Man out completely. It's like, okay, where's the MCU gonna go?
Right.
Because everything was kind of hinging on him. So, yeah.
I'm sure Disney had to swallow their pride and, man, now they've got 3% in toy rights.
Yeah, bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently this film is set for a July 16th, 2021 release.
Doesn't that seem like so far away?
It does.
Right?
Yes, it does.
Especially when you start saying in the 20s. Ugh.
Yeah, so it's going up against Mission Impossible 7, which opens on July 23rd, 2021. Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings opens on February 12th, 2021. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness opens on May 7th, 2021. And Thor Love and Thunder opens November 5th, 2021. Making 2021 the first year we get 4 MCU films.
Dang. Whew.
So I'm sorry, Mission Impossible 7, but I don't think you're going to do much.
Yeah, no.
At least you're not going to come out on top that year.
No, for sure. Ooh. Those are some good movies. I'm looking forward to all of those.
Me too. Okay. Yeah, we don't have any reviews this week. I didn't see anything.
Are there any upcoming movies that you're kind of looking forward to other than The Joker?
October has some good films coming out. Yeah, there's The Joker, there's Addams Family, that the animated one. There's what else? What else was there?
What are your thoughts on that one Gemini?
Oh,
Man.
Gemini Man?
Yeah.
I kind of want to see it. I think it looks kind of cool.
The other ones that I was able to find, Zombieland, Double Tap.
Oh yeah, Zombieland 2. Yep.
That'll be great. Terminator, Dark Fate, and The Irishman.
Oh, The Irishman. That's right. That's also getting released in theaters as well as on Netflix.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it both places?
Yeah. They're releasing it. I think they're releasing it in theaters first, and then it's coming out on Netflix. Like they're releasing it in theaters in October, and then it's coming out on Netflix in November.
As far as cast goes, that Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci. Yeah. It's
directed by Martin Scorsese. Yeah, that's gonna be a freaking good film.
3 hours and 30 minutes.
Is it really?
That's what the running time is.
Wow.
Do you think that's going to be the new thing, the new norm? Is Netflix is going to release it for a limited time in theaters, and then it'll make its way to Netflix just to make a little extra money?
If The Irishman does well, yeah, probably.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, could you imagine going to the theater and see the Netflix logo pop up? Like, that'd be weird.
That will be strange.
So, yeah, like you were saying, let's see, you got Joker, Maleficent, Gemini Man, Zombieland, The Addams Family, Jexy, a re-release of Ghostbusters, October 6th.
Mark your calendars.
I might have to go see that. I might have to go do that. High Strung, Free Dance, whatever that is. War, Elvis Unleashed, Alien, 40th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen Alien.
Really?
I might have to see it in theaters.
Aliens is the second one is better, but yeah.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
There's some good movies this October.
Yeah, there is.
We'll have some great reviews.
Hopefully I'll be able to get out there and see them. With my schedule, it's a little tough.
Yeah.
Either I got to see them like the first showing at like the 10 o'clock showing and then go home and go to bed.
Right.
Or I got to go to bed right after I go from work and then get up at like 6, 7 o'clock and then go to like a 9 o'clock showing. Like that's the only time I can see these films.
Your schedule is a little shaky.
It's
full circle.
Yeah. That being said, now we've come full circle. Where's my... There it is. Okay. Here's where you can find all of our episodes. You can find us at worldwarg.podbean.com. We're on iTunes, Google Play, cosmicpotato.com, and pretty much anywhere your podcasts are sold. Batteries not included. On the social media, facebook.com/worldwargpodcast. Also check out World War G2. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. We don't do anything with Twitter. Few things with Instagram at WWG Podcast. Shop.spreadshirt.com/worldwarg, where you can find all of our merchandise. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
at worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. You can also call or text the show on Joel's line at 385-240-1692. So this has been World War G episode 236. That's been AJ.
That's been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends. And welcome to the post-credit scene. Just got finished having a little discussion about maybe some
potential
upcoming stuff.
Yeah.
For the podcast.
We're always looking at trying to expand and, grow the podcast.
Basically, also ways to get you, the listener, more involved in the podcast.
Exactly. We do enjoy talking about geeky stuff, but it's also nice to hear other people's opinions.
Yes.
For a lot of the times, Troy and I have a tendency of agreeing on certain topics, which is it's more fun to debate things. Mm-hmm. Some of my favorite discussions are with my friends are on topics that I don't agree with them, and I'll kind of argue my case.
Well, if you ever want to argue, just bring up ghosts.
Okay. Yeah, there's about 5 different hot buttons that I know that I can just throw out there that are gonna cause issues. So yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna get back into our interviews here. We got this week and next week are gonna be our interviews, and next week we'll wrap it up. But this week, it's all about the voice actresses.
Yes.
So, this first one is going to be Linda Ballentyne with a B. Now, you may not know her name, but you've definitely heard her voice.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Linda Ballentyne is Sailor Moon. A very popular anime. I don't have to explain Sailor Moon to people listening. You probably know what it is.
It's also kind of cool that both of the actresses or the voice actors that do Sailor Moon and Sailor Mars are Canadian.
Yeah,
I thought it was kind of funny.
I think it was a Canadian when it came over to America. I think it was Canadian produced.
Really?
I think.
Okay.
So I guess that would kind of make sense.
Right. Keeping it in the family.
Yeah.
Like Canadians do.
Like those Canadians do. Those ancestral Canadians.
I'm just kidding. We appreciate you, our neighbors to the north.
We have listeners in Canada, so
yeah,
we definitely appreciate you guys. So yeah, also know that with these 2 interviews, these were the last 2 interviews we got, and it was the last day of the con.
Yeah.
And so we are tired.
Right.
I personally am exhausted.
They are as well.
Yes, they're also tired. And so I don't think it's this one. I think it's the next one. But at the beginning of the interview, you're going to hear me say, sorry? Mm-hmm. Or something like, see, I'm so tired or something like that. It's because I had the phone turned the wrong way when I was trying to talk, so I had to flip it around. It's because I hadn't got a whole bunch of sleep over those 3 days.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was rough. By the end of the day, I don't even remember half the things I was saying, honestly. So
I've been so sleep deprived before that I don't either. I don't know. I'm sure we've all gotten to that point where it's just what did I do today? What?
Yeah. So tired that as soon as you say something, you forget what you said right after you said it.
It's like when you read a book and you have to keep rereading that same paragraph over and over and over and over because it's just not sticking because you're so tired. So yeah.
Yeah, so that keep in mind that's our mindset these next 2 interviews. So
they were great interviews and we're really appreciative of them, but Yeah, it definitely took a little bit to kind of build up the energy.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much all you have to set up. So this is Linda Ballentyne, Sailor Moon. All right.
We're here with Linda Ballentyne, most notably known for as Sailor Moon. So with Sailor Moon originally being a manga, have you had a chance to read any of the source material?
Well, no, you know what? Because it was done so very long ago, 800,000 years ago, and it's all done now.
Yeah.
I didn't. There wasn't anything available that I could read at the time. And then as time went on, I just didn't. But I suppose I probably should be, shouldn't I? Especially since I've got some at home, because fans give me so much stuff, and I've got some of the manga at home.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And then what current projects are you working on that you can talk about?
Well, there's a couple that I can't. One I'm working on with Katie Griffin, actually, who was Sailor Mars.
Yeah.
We're in a show together, but we signed an NDA on that. I'm working on one show that's called Book Hungry Bears that is going to be amazing for very little kids. I'm on Max and Ruby. Another one called Top Wing. And then another one called Let's Go Luna.
Perfect. And then one question we've been asking everybody here at the con, what's your favorite breakfast cereal? Or what's your favorite breakfast item in general? Breakfast food. There you go.
Oh, that's so hard. It's going to have to be French toast with Canadian maple syrup, of course, because I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
Yep, that would be my
Our
number
neighbors
one.
to the north. I appreciate that. So, all right. Well, thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
And then here's that.
Great.
That's what we're posting.
Okay. So next we have Katie Griffin. Now, Katie Griffin was Sailor Mars.
Yeah.
In Sailor Moon.
Which it was kind of cool because they're actually working on a project together, and she seemed a little bit like she was more hesitant to reveal these kind of projects, right?
Yeah.
Where Linda Ballentyne, she was more open and just like happy to like divulge. I don't know if it was like stuff that we weren't supposed to know about just yet, but it was just kind of funny. You could definitely see there was kind of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently these two, like, they travel cons together all the time, and they're always working together, so. So I think it's this one that you'll hear me at the beginning say, oh, sorry, see, I told you I was really tired, blah, blah, blah. Because this is the absolute last interview we did at FanX.
After that, it was just like, all right, that's it. We've had enough. All right, cool.
It's like, all right, I'm done. And my brain is shot. So, here is Katie Griffin. In just a second. Here she comes. Okay, we are here with Katie Griffin. I told you, I'm so tired.
That's awesome.
Probably best known for Sailor Mars.
Right.
On Sailor Moon.
Yep.
So, Sailor Moon was originally a manga series. Have you had a chance to read any of the original source material?
I haven't read any of the source material, but I've seen a lot of it. I've signed a lot of them. A lot of fans have shown me their manga, but I have not, no.
Okay. And currently, what are you working on at the moment? Or what are you doing at the moment?
Well, at the moment, starting I think this week, there's a new show called Binky, Secret Agent Hearst, that's coming out. I don't know where it would be in the States because I'm Canadian, so I know in Toronto where it's airing. I'm on a show called Globies. I play Oily. She's a little mechanic. It's kind of fun. What else is on that I can talk about? Rusty Rivets. What else? Let's see. I was just recently on Mysticons, which seems to have a bit of a fan base because I played Kitty Boone. I don't know. There's stuff that does stuff. Yeah.
And then a question we've been asking everybody at the con: what is your favorite breakfast food?
Ooh, that's a good one. Bacon.
Oh, Canadian bacon?
No. Oh. Well, yeah, I like that too. I like all bacon.
Yeah.
I don't discriminate, but I like crispy bacon, just crispy strips of
Same
bacon.
here. I can't have it being like soggy or
No,
kind of
it's gotta be crispy. Yeah,
Agreed.
bacon.
And then one final question. With each of our episodes, we end with "Stay geeky, my friends." Is there any way we could have you say "Stay geeky, my friends" in any voice you choose?
Sure.
Stay geeky, my friends.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Now, this last one is Susan Egan. Now, she is best known for being Meg on Disney's Hercules.
She's done like a ton of others as well. But the thing that I liked about this interview is we always try to find, like when we're standing there kind of back a little bit, about to interview these celebrities, we always try to find a specific question that's tailored to them, so that we can actually get, some good information, or, so that we can bring to the table something new that they might have not heard before. They're always pretty caught off guard by the breakfast question.
Yeah.
But it's also nice to come up with a question where she was just like, wow, I've never thought about this, but like I'm kind of drawn to these certain roles.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool. That, and if she's hiring, I would totally work on her avocado ranch. That would be awesome, dude. As like you just have avocado toast every morning. Like, yeah, it'd be delicious.
Living that hipster life.
I would love that. That'd be awesome.
So, that being said, here is Susan Egan. Okay. All right, so we are here with Susan Egan. Now, I know that you have played several, many strong female characters.
Yes.
Meg, of course, from Hercules being a big one. Do you prefer to go to those roles, or is just kind of luck of the draw?
I don't know. I guess when I audition for those kinds of roles, it resonates the most, and those end up being the jobs that I book. It's funny. I never thought about it that way. Yeah.
And then, what are some projects that you have coming up that you can talk about, of course?
Sure. So I've got a company called Broadway Princess Party, and it's all the girls who played Broadway princesses on Broadway. We've got Cinderella, we've got Jasmine, we've got Anastasia, and we go around the country. We do these massive concerts that are a hybrid between Broadway caliber concert, because we're the girls on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So the music is awesome, and cosplay. And so bringing, if those girls have their Cinderella dresses, we want to give them another place to wear them. But, the boys are showing up too. We had a guy show up. He was a husband of one of the ladies who wanted to go. And he came dressed as Elsa with a sign around him that said, "Let it bro."
Nice.
It was so good.
It.
Yeah.
All right, and then a question we've been asking everybody, what's your favorite breakfast food?
Oh, my favorite breakfast food. I love the avocado toast. I'm obsessed with avocados. Oh, well, there you are. So much so that I actually have an avocado ranch in California.
Really?
Yeah, 20 acres of avocado trees.
Okay.
I can't eat that many, but
Sure.
I get close to it.
Yeah.
And then one last thing, if I could ask a favor. We have a catchphrase that we say at the end of every episode, which is "Stay geeky, my friends." It's right here on my shirt. So would you mind, in any voice you choose, giving us a "Stay geeky, my friends"?
Yeah. This is Susan Egan, the voice of Megara from Disney's Hercules, and I don't know, stay geeky, my friends.
Awesome. And there you go. There is Susan Egan. There's the interviews for this week. Definitely stay tuned next week.
Yes.
Because next week is the interviews that we've saved that I think are probably the best ones.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah.
The ones that we got the best conversation out of, and the ones that I think personally actually liked us.
I feel like a lot of them liked us, or at least they were cordial.
Yeah. But I think the ones next week, the people next week, I think actually like.
You could see yourself being friends with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
they seem more down to earth?
Yeah, and they got what we were trying to do, and
they took us serious?
Yeah, let's put it that way. They took us a bit more seriously. So,
right.
Yeah, stay tuned for those next week. There's going to be 4.
Oh, there's some really good ones.
Yeah, and they're really awesome. So, stay tuned for that. But until then, we'll geek at you next week.
Yeah.